Imagine someone offered you unlimited wealth, every luxury, every possession, every status symbol you've ever wanted. Gold roofs, marble floors, royal purple clothing, the works. Would you be happy? More importantly, would you ever feel like you had enough? 2,000 years ago, a Roman philosopher named Seneca wrote a letter to his young friend Lucilius. In it, he tackled this exact question. Not because Romans didn't care about wealth, they were obsessed with it just like we are, but because Seneca understood something we've forgotten: the psychology of desire itself. Seneca's letter begins with a statement that cuts to the bone. No one can lead a happy life, or even one that is bearable, without the pursuit of wisdom. Not wealth, not success, not followers, not likes, not the next promotion. Wisdom. And here's the uncomfortable part. He says we need to strengthen this conviction daily, because we forget it constantly. Seneca tells Lucilius he's not ready to trust him yet. Not because Lucilius is dishonest, but because Lucilius is like all of us, still learning to trust himself. He says, carry out a searching analysis and close scrutiny of yourself in all sorts of different lights. In other words, stop fooling yourself about your own progress. Then Seneca drops a truth bomb. He says philosophy is not an occupation of a popular nature, nor is it pursued for the sake of self-advertisement. It's not content creation. It's not your personal brand. It's not something you do to seem interesting at parties. Philosophy, he says, molds and builds the personality, orders one's life, regulates one's conduct. Seneca uses a powerful metaphor. He says philosophy sits at the helm and keeps one on the correct course as one is tossed about in perilous seas. Every single day, he argues, we face countless situations that demand wisdom. Without it, we're just reacting, just drifting, just being tossed around by whatever happens to us. But then someone objects. They say, what's the point of philosophy if fate controls everything? Or if God determines everything? Or if everything's just random chance? Either way, I have no control. And you can hear the defeatism in this question. It's the same energy as why bother improving my life when the system is rigged. Seneca's response is brilliant. He says, whichever of these alternatives is true, even if all of them are true, we still need to practice philosophy. Whether you believe in fate, God, or randomness doesn't matter. Philosophy will teach you to submit to God with cheerfulness and to fortune with defiance. It's not about control. It's about how you respond. Seneca warns Lucilius not to let his spiritual enthusiasm cool off or fall away. This is so modern it hurts. How many times have you felt fired up about changing your life only to lose steam 2 weeks later? Seneca knew this pattern 2 millennia ago. Enthusiasm fades. What matters is transforming enthusiasm into a settled disposition. Then Seneca shares a quote from Epicurus. Yes, a competing philosopher. Because wisdom is wisdom, no matter the source. Epicurus said, if you shape your life according to nature, you will never be poor. If according to people's opinions, you will never be rich. Read that again. Nature's wants are small. Opinions' wants are infinite. Now Seneca launches into an incredible thought experiment. He says, imagine you've been given unlimited wealth, a roof of gold, royal purple clothing, marble floors that hide the earth beneath, treasures, sculptures, paintings, everything produced by art and extravagance. You have it all, but here's the twist. Seneca says all these riches will only induce in you a craving for even bigger things. You don't arrive. You don't feel satisfied. You just want more. The mansion wasn't enough. Now you need the yacht, then the private island, then the space hotel. There's no endpoint. This is where Seneca delivers the key insight. Natural desires are limited. Those which spring from false opinions have nowhere to stop. Natural desires have a finish line. You get hungry, you eat, you're satisfied. But false desires, the ones created by advertising, by social comparison, by ego, those never end. Seneca uses another perfect metaphor. He says when you're following a track, there's an end to it somewhere. But with wandering at large, there is no limit. Natural desires are like a track. They have a destination. False desires are like wandering in a desert with no map, no destination, just endless movement. So Seneca gives us a test. When you feel desire for something, ask yourself, is it capable of coming to rest at any point? If you can imagine being satisfied, it might be natural. If you can't, If there's always something farther away, it's not natural. It's a trap. Think about how this applies today. You buy a new phone, for 2 days you love it. Then you see ads for the next model. Or you get a promotion. You're thrilled for a week. Then you're already thinking about the next level. Or you gain followers on social media. It feels good briefly. Then you need more. Where does it end? Seneca's image of the gold roof is so specific. He's not exaggerating for effect. Ultra-wealthy Romans actually did this. They built roofs of gold, floors of marble, and wore purple worth more than houses. And they still weren't happy. The same way billionaires today build mega-yachts with smaller yachts inside them, and still aren't happy. Modern psychology has a term for this: the hedonic treadmill. We adapt to improvements in our circumstances incredibly quickly. The raise that seemed life-changing becomes normal within months. The luxury car becomes just your car. The dream house becomes just your house. You're running on a treadmill, getting nowhere. What are nature's actual wants? Food when hungry, water when thirsty, shelter from the cold, rest when tired, connection with others, meaningful work. These are bounded. You can actually satisfy them. You can't eat infinite food or sleep infinite hours. There's a natural stopping point built in, but opinions wants those have no bottom. You can never be famous enough, rich enough, successful enough, attractive enough, because you're always comparing yourself to someone who has more. The measuring stick keeps moving. The goalpost is on wheels. You're chasing something that's designed to stay out of reach. Social media has weaponized this principle. You're not comparing yourself to your actual neighbors anymore. You're comparing yourself to everyone's highlight reel. The billionaire's yacht, the influencer's vacation, the entrepreneur's exit. Your own life, even if objectively good, feels inadequate by comparison. Seneca says, "Falsity has no point of termination." This is the killer line. False desires literally cannot end because they're not based on reality. They're based on imagination, ego, fear, social comparison, things that have no natural limits. You're trying to fill a bottomless pit. Give up pointless, empty journeys. Seneca urges how much of your life is spent on these journeys. Scrolling feeds for hours, shopping for things you don't need, pursuing credentials you don't want for jobs you won't enjoy, maintaining relationships that drain you, collecting experiences for the story, not for the experience itself. Seneca gives us the diagnostic question. Ask yourself whether it is capable of coming to rest at any point. If after going a long way there is always something remaining farther away, be sure it is not something natural. This is your tool. When you want something, test it with this question. Remember, Seneca's opening philosophy molds and builds the personality, orders one's life, regulates one's conduct. This isn't abstract theory, it's daily practice. It's asking this question before every purchase, every ambition, every desire. It's building the habit of distinguishing natural from false wants. Seneca warned about enthusiasm fading. The goal isn't to stay permanently excited about simple living. That's just another form of striving. The goal is for it to become your settled disposition. Not I'm trying to want less, but I genuinely want less because I see through the game. Apply this to your actual life right now. What are you chasing that has no endpoint? Is it followers, money, status, the perfect body, the perfect partner, the perfect life? If achieving it would just move the goalpost, you're in the trap. If there's no amount that would be enough, you're wandering, not following a track. Here's the paradox Seneca understood. Limits are liberating. When you know enough is enough, you can actually be satisfied. When you accept that natural desires have stopping points, you can stop. The person who can never have enough is enslaved. The person who knows what enough is, that person is free. Seneca isn't telling you to give away everything and live in a cave. He's inviting you to see through the game, to recognize when a desire is natural and when it's manufactured, to stop wandering and start following a track, to test your wants against reality instead of against infinite imagination. 2,000 years separate us from Seneca. The technology has changed beyond recognition, but human nature hasn't. We're still chasing false desires off cliffs. We're still wandering without tracks. We're still pouring water into bottomless vessels. The wisdom remains the same. Know what's natural, know what's enough, and be free. That's it. That's the whole game. If this video helped you see your desires differently, hit the like button and subscribe. This video was created with the assistance of